It's the Tinder Swindler India version that has rocked the nation. And the accused here is no smooth talking, jet setting, dapper young dude, but a portly 67-year-old taata with hair jutting out of all the wrong places who conned not 1, 2, or 3 but 27 women. The name of this cunning conman is Bibhu Prakash Swain, who believed in his soulmates and sacha pyaar, or at least that is what he told more than 20 women who he allegedly married and duped across India before his dramatic arrest just weeks before his next two shaadis. This dubious dulha found his dulhans online, and his taste in women ranged from independent career-oriented ones to those posted in high and mighty places. Yes, the police said he posed as a 51-year-old doctor and went after professors, lawyers, medics, and even a paramilitary officer all over India to say I do. This King Con told his to-be dulhans that he gets a big fat salary and used fake ID cards and appointment letters to make his credentials and family background look genuine. A senior police officer told the AFP that he primarily did this for some money and some sexual pleasure. Now, we are not sure if he should be investigated by ED or for ED. A minute's silence for those who didn't get this pun, but for those who did get the joke, kindly let us know in the comments. And just like Simon Levy, our Desi Swindler minus Tinder made the police do some hard work and gave them enough chakmas before he was giraftar and was taken to his real sasural, the police station. Yes, it was only recently that a police team arrested Bibhu after being hot on his trail for months, discovering his multiple identities, bank accounts, and plans for 2 more shaadis in February and March. On 13th February last year, that's ironically on the Valentine's Day Eve, this 67-year-old Shatir was traveling in a bhadeki car in Bhubaneswar when he suddenly found himself in a filmy situation. Yes, police ne usko charo taraf se gher liya tha, as a special squad of Odisha police had been tailing him for 8 months, and this was their big chance to nab him in range haath. Because believe it or not, the cops had done their homework pretty well. They knew his entire kacha chitta, including the vehicle number, and they had tracked down his online transactions. When Bibhu Prakash Swain emerged from his Badeki Gadi, the squad was left shell-shocked at what they saw. This was no handsome devil. This was barely a 5 foot 2 inch tall taata with a trimmed bushy mustache that was in all likelihood dyed with Godrej Kesh Kala. Now, surrounded by police, Bibhu knew it was khel khatam for his shadi byah ka jol jal, and so he just flashed a weak smile and promptly surrendered. By the time the police team finished investigating him, they were sure that they had arrested one of Odisha's biggest behrupias. The police said he was always very persuasive and only targeted successful single, widowed or divorced women in their late 40s. So what was the modus operandi of his Kala Kandi? As it turns out, not very different from the Tinder Swindler. Police said just a few happy and satisfying days into the shadi, and this cheater chacha would start showing his asliyat. After getting some pyaar, Bibhu would make all sorts of bahanas to borrow his nayi naveli dulhan's paisa or even jewelry to help him with an emergency. And this one, who actually looks like Tinder Swindler ka baap, would plead that the government has frozen his bank account for some reason. My guess is he would have said for being too sexy. Anyway, the police said after marriage, he would call up his wife saying that he's stuck at an airport as his ticket has been cancelled or he needed some money for a sudden illness. And as soon as he would get the rokda, he would immediately start looking for that next elusive victim. He would move on to his next target, hoping that the woman that he just conned would be a single, widowed or divorced bichari who had done the ghor paap of remarrying in a sanskari Indian society and would never go to the police because of the log kya kahenge syndrome that has destroyed many lives in our country. But finally, in May 2021, one such abla nari bajawed his tabla by going to the police and blowing the lid off all his kali kartoots. Bibhu's luck ran out when the police launched a probe into his multiple lives after a complaint by one of his 48-year-old Biwi, who by chance discovered that he was already married to at least 7 other women. The police say that the victim, feeling angry and cheated obviously, quietly retrieved the contact details of the other patnis from his phone and contacted them individually, and they all started talking about their pakhandi pati. Phir kya tha? It was a full-blown ladies versus Bibhu Swain, as police started following him not on Insta or Twitter but in real life. Police said that it was only after this complaint that they came into the picture and made sansanikhez khulasas about his long history of cheating, impersonation and dhokadhadi. Investigators believe that Bibhu Chacha married more than 18 times And guess how he saved the names of his multiple BVs? Believe it or not, when the police were going through his mobile phone records, they found that he saved his wife's contacts as Madam Delhi, Madam Assam, or Madam UP, basically named them after the places where they stayed. And he had more creative ways to save the names in his phone's address book. The police found the names of several women saved as Wife 1, Wife Doctor, Wife Bilai, Wife Teacher, Wife Guwahati, Wife Bangalore, to be wife Denkanal, and to be wife Jagat Singhpur. Wow. Police said he posed as a Deputy Director General under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, who was required to travel to different states in order to check medical facilities. This Kala Jhoot allowed him to spend long periods of time away without raising any suspicion from any of his BBs, who clearly never had an iota of shak on their shohar until it was too late. But who exactly is this wife collector, Bibhu Prakash Swain? He was born in a small village in Odisha, and his first and the only legit marriage was way back in 1978, from which he has 3 children. 2 of them are doctors and 1 is a dentist. Trained as a lab technician, this Kuwara Baap ran into major problems with his parivar and moved to Bhubaneswar, where he started introducing himself as a doctor and ultimately married his second wife in 2002. She was a doctor by profession. And after that, this dirty dulha got a taste of duping his dulhans and started using multiple names. But the police say he always introduced himself as doctor, perhaps Dilka, or a professor, perhaps Lavka, while looking for wives on Wi-Fi, I mean online. But the police have one doubt. हो ना हो इस चश्मश चाचा के साथ एक बड़ी गैंग जुड़ी हो सकती है. After all, he couldn't have possibly pulled off all these elaborate cons alone. They think it's definitely not a one-man job, and the police are looking for people who may have helped him with his detailed setups and moved all his paisa from one place to another. After all, a man was a Rashtriya Dulha. He never married 2 women from the same state. And if you thought this is it, then ruko jara, sabar karo, there is more. Apart from marrying at least 27 women in 10 states, Bibhu also allegedly defrauded 13 banks for over 1 crore rupees with 128 forged credit cards, and ran a chain of medical labs where doctors and other staff went for months without pay, as per the reports. He has even cheated people in Hyderabad of 2 crores, promising seats in MBBS courses for their children. Bibhu has been booked under various sections of the IPC, including 498A for harassment of women, 419 for cheating and impersonation, 468 and 471 for forgery, and 494 for marrying again while being already married. After his giraftari, Bibhu Swain was immediately remanded to judicial custody in Bhubaneswar. Police say that they are not sure if this Dogla Dulha is even a 10th pass, but his 27 wives include women at high posts and designations. From marrying an assistant commandant of the Indo-Tibetan Border Police to a chartered accountant from Chhattisgarh, teachers of a New Delhi-based school, a doctor in Tezpur in Assam, 2 advocates of the Supreme Court and the Delhi High Court, a government employee from Indore to an officer of the Kerala Administrative Services. In the last 3.5 years, Bibhu Swain targeted his victims through matrimonial sites like jeevansathi.com, bharatmatrimony.com and shaadi.com to start their barbadi. What's even more shocking is that his profile on these websites was riddled with typos like spelling mistakes and grammatical errors, and yet none of his matches thought it was a red flag. Here's what he wrote on his profile, where he quoted his annual income as 50 to 70 lakh rupees. Presently posted South Central Division as the Chief Controller of NEET UG and PG entrance examination, and I search a portion how having good understanding to maintain our good resource of family values. The police said his poorly worded introduction should have been a giveaway, but the women Swain reached out to were above the ages of 40, struggling to deal with societal pressure, or were divorced or had problems in the family. Bhubaneswar Deputy Commissioner of Police said, though he looked more than 60 in real life, his victims ignored even that while considering his government job. Bibhu Swain took full advantage of the women's helplessness and laid elaborate traps. The police said, though we are yet to know how much money he made out of the victims, initial assessments say he collected 2 to 10 lakh rupees from each of his victims. His motive was simple: marry for money, means no pyaar, only paisa. Bibhu Swain told the police that he had rented at least 3 apartments in Bhubaneswar, where he would keep 3 wives at the same time. Many say that he was quite a daredevil dulha. Police say it was surely not a one-man show, and he parked his loot with his wife and different people over the years. From his chat transcripts and other evidence, we have found that he was in touch with 70 to 75 other women whom he could have married, according to the police, over the next few years. I'm sorry, but this man surely looks like a marriage machine. And guess what? Beyond all of this, there is one more very serious charge on this 67-year-old. A police officer said there are also allegations that he stole kidneys of some people in his clinic. Bibhu's stepmother Gauri was shocked to know that her sotela beta was such a big makkar. She told the police around 6 months ago he came to the village, but he never told us about his marriages. In any case, he has never cared for us. His younger brother Umesh, who is a farmer, revealed that Bibhu's real name is Ramesh. He said that his brother worked as an assistant in the lab of a doctor. Later, he started posing as a doctor himself and started even treating patients in the villages and nearby areas. In 1990, Ramesh left the village and worked in Cuttack, Denkanal and other districts, he said. What was even more shocking is the fact that in 2006 he was arrested by the Kerala police for a fraud in State Bank of India, Kochi, for over 1 crore rupees, but clearly he did not mend his ways and now is back in the jail. Now this story is a shocking one to another level because it not only points out how easy it is to run such elaborate scams in a densely populated country like India, but also the societal shaming and pressure that women above a certain age face for not being married to a man. Imagine if such independent, powerful women could fall for such a con man just for the security of having a man's name attached to theirs. Think of the women living in much smaller towns and villages. Why is marriage the be all and end all of everything still? If you have the answer, please let us know in the comments. And I for one shall keep a close nazar on this nalayak navra whose sham shaadis will go down in history as the most unholy matrimonies. But for now, it's time for you to keep a close nazar on the falling or thinning hair, as they can be more elusive than Bibhu. So arrest your hair problems right now by ordering your supply of the It Really Works vitamins. My channel is the only one where you get it for full 40% off. Nowhere else will you get it for such cheap price. This is an expensive product and it really works. If you have hair thinning problems or your hair is falling, or if there's any other hair issue that you're facing, then these are the vitamins that will work for you. Whether you're a man or a woman, you can order these. And I ordered it after going through a lot of reviews online. You can do the same thing. You can do the due diligence, but use the link that I'm giving you to order it for full 40% off. That's like almost half the money off. And that's a great offer. And I don't know how long they'll keep it on, but for now it's on. And the link for it is in the description. Order it if you need it, or else just ignore it like how Bibhu ignored his typos and pot belly before approaching all these wonderful women who he eventually conned. You can connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitter. It's @ReviewRon or @Ronak Kotecha, respectively. Of course, like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you've already done that. But even if you don't do any of these things, as always, thank you so much for watching this one. Please take care of yourself and those around you. Jai Hind.